Hi, it's your international bestie. This is Paradise Not Included. I wanted to start this video because I got some really great questions during my TikTok live. So I thought I'd make a YouTube longer version to go a little bit further in depth. Now, I'm doing a handheld thing today because it's nighttime and I'm chilling in my guest room and there's no natural light in here. So in order to get the lighting, I have to hold my phone. Do I have to hold my phone? I'm pretty sure I have a tripod somewhere. Anyway, so shout out to everybody on TikTok. I hope you guys will also follow me there if you are not yet doing so. One of the main questions I got today during the live was, how are the medical facilities here in Bangkok, Thailand? And I can answer that with a really strong excellent. They are great facilities here. Now, mind you, every hospital is not equally made, so you will need to do a bit of research and check reviews. But Bangkok has some of the best doctors, some of the most wonderful, amazing equipment, and it's all priced in a way that seems very affordable compared to that of the West. I'll give you an example that I did in the live. A friend of mine traveled here some years ago and needed an emergency surgery. It probably would have costed him about $150,000 US in the United States, but his total was only $4,000. That's a lot easier to raise and get that money when you need to versus $150,000 US without insurance. So that's just an example. In addition to regular medical support, you can also get dental services here. I'm currently getting my orthodontic treatment in Bangkok, Thailand. So far, it's been a good experience, a lot more accessible as far as pricing is concerned. I paid an upfront cost and then I pay a monthly fee, which is equivalent to about $60 US. And nowhere in the States can you really do that unless you finance it and, of course, pay interest on that financed portion of your dental services. Here, it's not a financing thing. It's just every month that you go to get new wires, you pay the $60 fee. It's great. Someone also asked about accessibility because they were thinking about traveling here with someone who's a wheelchair user. I have seen wheelchair users here, mostly electronic, motorized, I'm having a brain, motorized wheelchairs. I will say that Thailand is not high on the list as far as accessibility for out and about on the streets, and that is because the sidewalks are built in a way to avoid flooding. So there's a really high gap between the actual street level and the sidewalk, which is about, I want to say, nearly 12 inches off the ground. Maybe that might be an exaggeration, but it is quite a steep jump. And sometimes there is not that sloped or ramped entryway to get from the street to the sidewalk. You have to actually step, so it's not step free. So that could be prohibitive to many people unless because there's not going to be, the ramps are not everywhere on the street. So that is something to be mindful of, though I have seen people that live here and they figure out a way to make it work, whether they're using accessible transportation or they frequent certain areas. Now, mind you, once you get to like shopping centers and things like that, there are elevators and lifts and things of that nature. But I would not say that this is a super accessible place. I wouldn't say that. Unfortunately, that's one of the few drawbacks, but there are many other things to be excited about for Thailand. I don't think that's something to take lightly. But again, because I have seen people here using wheelchairs, it is possible. I would say come with a friend, someone who can support you and help you. But yeah, if you have an adventurous spirit, why not? I don't think people should let certain things hold them back from experiencing a full life. There were other questions. Let's see. So we covered medical stuff. Dental. The weather. Yes. So Thailand has two main seasons, dry and rainy season. The rainy season starts around... Hold on, when does it start? It ends around November. I believe it starts in May, if I'm not mistaken. And it just rains like a lot. It's not to be scoffed at because it does cause flooding in some areas. Again, going back to the sidewalks, they have a purpose. They're designed for that purpose to avoid flooding. There are mudslides in other parts of the country. However, down in the city, the worst that I've seen is like a bit of flooding. But by the next day, it usually recedes entirely, and it's almost like it never even rained before. Like, it's completely dry and sunny again. So I don't mind the rainy season at all. It doesn't bother me. Now, the dry season is also very humid. It's hot. So it would be akin to a summer in New York, or perhaps a little slightly less intense summer in Tokyo. And so it's very humid, very hot. However, all the buildings are air conditioned, the shopping malls, the restaurants. You will not have any trouble like dipping into a cooler place to catch your breath a bit. But yeah, outside it will be hot for sure. All right, let's see, what else do I want to say in this particular video? Weather. Someone was asking about, I forgot, it was something interesting and I can't quite remember it right now. But I guess the only thing I'd also add to this video is that, reiterating the same thing, there's people who are trying to decide between China and Thailand where they're going to move. You really need to assess what your needs are. Assess what your values are. What are the things you're looking for in your new place of residence? What is the accessibility of the visa situation? Because that also is a huge determining factor. For myself, I chose Thailand because I qualified for a particular visa here, and I've had 2 other kinds of visas here. Now, that might not be the case if for China or another country, Taiwan, I'm not sure. So you want to do some research on that. Make sure that you do qualify for a longer term visa so that you don't have to be so concerned about leaving at a certain date, because that can be very stressful, especially if you're traveling with children or disabled parents. Yeah, make sure that you have the appropriate documentation. You're not just living on a tourist visa. Follow the rules so that you don't have any issues. But I would say by and large, Thailand is a super easy place to get set up in. You can sign a condo lease the very same day that you arrive if you want. Like, it's totally feasible, though I would say shop around. Do not rush into that because there's a plethora of condos, and Bangkok is a massive city. This place is huge. You really should give yourself at least 2 weeks to figure out where you want to be. I personally love being not too far from downtown because when I want to go out or access that area, it's very easy, and it's also easy to get home. So those are some things to consider. This is my intro video number 2. I'll be making more of these and doing little in-depth versions of it as I get better organized. This is Paradise Not Included. I'm your international bestie. Leave your comments and questions below, and I'll get back to you soon. Until next time, have a beautiful day, and remember, anything is possible.